Welcome back to Least Obvious Case 3 Villain. Hello, welcome back to Peace Storm. I am Pluvius Lilon, and today we're playing Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. And when we last left off, we had found out that the murder of Romain Latouche may have taken place during the second act of the Gavinners concert, and not the third, which completely destroys Darian Crescen's alibi. Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Lemiroir's performance?
The reason why she was in that air vent? And that switch and the flaming guitar? When you link it all together, that's what you end up with.
I knew you had what it took.
Daddy?
Mr. Wright, you believed in me?
Sure didn't, but I brought pudding!
Why do I even bother hoping?
Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all.
Sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission.
Secret? You mean like you're undercover?
Like Mr. Latouche, only shorter and not as well dressed.
Oh no, what if you're shot too, Daddy?
Why would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again.
Huh? You're leaving?
One thing before I go.
What?
Good luck.
Right. Is that all you came to say?
I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Machi Tobai off the hook, no doubt.
Yeah, but
you're after that detective, aren't you?
Darian Crescend.
Won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system.
The current court system?
What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption, namely that our Diva Divine is telling the truth.
But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch?
A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder. There are plenty of other ways to explain these things, the flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case.
But
If the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure.
So what do I do?
Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it'll be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend.
Detective Sky? Emma?
Let's see, this bag of snacks here was meant for me. Here it is.
what are those, Daddy? What are those? They don't look like very good snacking material.
They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments reveals traces of gunpowder.
Gunpowder?
Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days.
Happy 6th of July, everyone!
These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually.
Under the sofa?
Hey, Apollo. That's where we found that little device thingy.
Right, this. Well, finally some evidence that makes sense.
That's all for me, I suppose. See you after the verdict, maybe.
Right.
Every man has an igniter inside him.
Excuse me?
Find Darian Crescen's igniter and set it off.
And he walked out of the door just like a magician, normally.
What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean?
I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes.
I guess.
We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy.
Court is now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is Detective Crescend? In the witness lounge, ready to be called on at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darian was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3. But his guitar playing, it fires my imagination.
That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct?
Oh, I know. There, forehead. Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Darian Crescend. Name and occupation, please. Darian Crescend, Detective, Criminal Affairs Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division, for those who don't know. I'm a guitarist for the Gaviners. Maybe you heard of us. Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today? Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you can let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darian. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends.
I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial?
Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lemiroir's testimony. If, in fact, you have anything to say about it. Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Burguinia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Ha!
Conventional methods are out the window, huh? Here goes nothing. Also, why are all the Gaviners so racist? What do they all have against Burguinia?
The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never really heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots? As if. Didn't Detective Emma Skye hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man. So you claim Lemiroir's testimony was a lie? Hey, don't get me wrong, I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid. She's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just because she's blind. You go too far, Darian. Look, all I'm saying is, you got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective? Detective Skye? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
He didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this with Lemiroir's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place.
Before... Nope.
You don't have any proof she was lying.
Oh yeah, kid? You saying I lied?
No, I'm just saying,
Apollo, glare back at him.
I couldn't help it. I flinched by reflex. Detective Crescend.
Yeah? What do you want?
Nothing.
Apollo, chin up. Back straight. You're wilting.
This guy's hard as nails. He makes Walkie look downright cooperative.
Look, there's no way the diva remembers my voice.
Oh. Okay, our meter was fully restored. Well, before I do anything, I want to take a look at these fragments? What are these fragments all about?
So, you think this is some kind of firecracker?
Yeah, or one of those noisemakers like you shoot off on New Year's.
Did you know that in China they use firecrackers on New Year's to scare off evil? So it's kind of the same thing.
Really? I had no idea. Well, did you know this? It takes more than 500 peanuts to make one 12-ounce jar of peanut butter.
At least my useless fact had something to do with the evidence.
Okay, I have an idea.
Some things were found at the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? The first was this small device.
That's the remote-triggered igniter.
Correct. And one more thing. One more thing!
What are those? The remains of something burnt? Not another guitar, I hope.
Traces of gunpowder were found on those fragments. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker.
How did Gavin know about this?
What, do you think Detective Sky works for you? I received the report this morning before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually.
What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin?
I registered Darian as a witness in today's trial, just in case.
This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been two firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control.
You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient for me.
How so?
So you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off right when two witnesses came walking by? Ha!
That's right. Darian was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How could he know? How would he know someone was backstage right then?
If a firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear, you get my drift. Why go through the trouble, man?
How do I explain this?
He may not look it, but Darian is a gifted detective. Show any weakness and he's sure to find it. He may not look it, partner? Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself. And I saw something odd there just before the third set.
Something odd?
A headset. The kind all the band and staff members were wearing.
That's right. We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room.
What if that headset wasn't dropped, but placed? And what if it was turned on?
You would hear what was going on in that hallway, even if you were out on stage.
Pfft. Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Darian. There are no sides in a court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, Air Forehead. I have a question for you.
Huh? For me?
The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fake the sound of gunshots. Throw the headset from the hallway into the mix, and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake. We can't say. You've raised the possibility that the gunshots heard during the third set were faked. Now you need to prove the other half of the case.
The other half?
Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act, while our little piano player was on stage. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that...
Then to continue this cross-examination would be pointless.
Well, Mr. Justice, can you prove the crime took place during the second set?
Yeah, I think.
You better know, Apollo. Otherwise we're through.
It can be proven.
You make it sound like someone else is gonna come along and do it for you.
Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness your testimony if you would.
This isn't gonna be easy. I need some decisive proof and fast.
You ready, kid? 'Cause I am. The shooting took place during the second set? If you're so sure, let's see your proof.
But the gunshots heard during the third set could have been...
What, some kind of setup? I've heard that one before. We need proof, Apollo. We need to prove that the shooting took place during the second set.
Well, if you know how to do that, I'm all ears.
Maybe the gunshots are the key after all.
What do you mean?
Well, Lamirwar said she heard them, right? Right in the middle of her illusion when she was up above the ceiling.
When she forgot the words of the song, yeah.
If you can prove the gun was shot right when she missed those lyrics, we're home free, I think.
True. Not easy, but true. Is there some way to prove that?
Let's look through our evidence. Maybe there's something in there.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be cross-examining me? Try to refrain from private discussions during cross-examinations, Mr. Justice.
Right, Your Honor. Sorry. Just let me take a quick look through the court record.
I wonder. He's pretty eager to paint Lamirwar as a liar, isn't he?
Yeah, because her testimony is basically her entire case.
This is tough. So what should we do?
I've got a few ideas. I just need to find another way to prove it didn't happen when he says it did.
Right, E.
E.
Seems there was clear proof left behind. Right here in Lamirwar's song.
Her song? What exactly is this, device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps?
Come on, we just used this. And don't get me started on gramophone. Like you're a grandma. This device was used to record the performance part by part.
Part?
You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lamirwar's voice included.
Oh, but what does this prove?
According to Lamirwar's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song.
Ah, you intend to examine the recording at that moment, yeah? We might even hear those gunshots.
Exactly.
Ridiculous. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Darian? We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We're all deeply involved in our performance, but Lamirwar's headset would have picked up what she heard all the same.
Then let's get to analyzing the recording. Right now.
Lamirwar stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot, I'll find the gunshots. Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lamirwar's vocals.
I did hear something faintly there, yes. Why, it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in the U.S. It's not uncommon to hear gunshots, like, anywhere. But they were heard during the second set, which means Lemiroir's testimony was true.
Gah. Order. So, she was telling the truth about what she heard.
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Lettuce.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch, now.
Just after that, there was a gunshot, and the guitar caught on fire.
Detective Crescend, you were on stage during the second set. You could have done it.
But why did we only hear one gunshot on the recording? Weren't 2 bullets fired from this weapon?
Lemiroir was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must have not been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot. But then as she passed over the dressing room, the gun fired again and Mr. Lettuce's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescend?
Once again, I'm reminded of something. Our performance that day...
Your performance?
Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, Air Forehead. What is it with today? Problem after problem. Achtung! My hog won't start, my guitar case is busted, my guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about?
This part's off.
Which is that? Second guitar.
Gah.
It was you, Darian. I thought it was strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that.
Yeah, well, You what? Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at?
I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Lettuce's .45 caliber hand cannon. As we've learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur.
Wait, you mean that his playing was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver?
Ha! You're forgetting something.
Yes, Detective Crescend?
I'm a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training, plenty of it. I'm no amateur. The standard sidearm issued to police officers is a .38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Lettuce, which suggests there was a struggle between the killer and the victim.
So the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean?
The thought had occurred to me, yes.
Well, doesn't the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescend.
What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say. Hey you, attorney.
Me?
Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? Got a little noise on a tape, or you got a little noise on a tape that could be anything. And you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a .45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager. And that's the obvious truth.
The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescend. Tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it.
Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This was that diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him?
A simple reason, indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Latouche had not been to our country before?
According to our records, yes. Not even once.
I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
Great. Now we need to find a motive.
I know a way. I know a way you can know her manager. Let's see. Okay, that wasn't it. Do I have the ID as a separate piece of evidence? Oh well. Let's just press his statements.
Her manager, sure, but Mr. Latouche was...
Oh right, sorry. An Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lunk as an undercover cop, you dig? Not a very good one, seeing as how he got wasted.
That's cold, dog.
Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was.
But that's the same for Machi. No motive was proven for him.
Come on, he traveled around the world with that old fart. He had plenty of time to come up with a motive of his own. More than I sure did. I mean, think about it.
Darian, you're a detective with international affairs?
Yeah, what of it?
Even if this was Mr. Latouche's first trip to this country, you still could have met him prior to the concert.
Huh?
Or don't you take any international trips in international affairs?
That's right. Well, Detective Crescendo?
That's your game, is it? Guess I better confess then.
Confess?
Yeah, it's a bit of an embarrassment, but I've never been sent overseas.
What? But you're an international...
See, me and Plain's got a difference of opinion. We don't like each other much. My condolences there, Forehead, but he's telling the truth. He's never set foot outside this country, I can guarantee it. As it turns out, my division has plenty of work to do locally as well.
That's so unfair. So you didn't fraternize with him at all during the concert?
Fraternize? Ha! I don't think we exchanged a single word. As if anyone would want to talk to that old Eastern blockhead. Now the ladies, that's a different matter altogether. You see this hair? This is all for the ladies. So you see...
You sure about that?
What? Wipe that look off your face before I do it for you. Listen, you try throwing out one of your wild accusations, I'll throw it back at you so hard you'll forget who you're accusing of what. There, Forehead, perhaps it's best if you let your evidence do the talking, yeah? Man, what evidence? That's what I want to know.
So he's using this motive question as ammunition, huh? Well, I've got ammunition too. Evidence.
So we're trying to establish his motive. Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah, this was gonna be one of my first guesses, or one of my first guesses. So.
Your Honor, take a look at this.
What's that? Looks like candy.
It's not. Please don't lick it. Detective Crescendo, ever seen this?
Looks like a piece of candy.
What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings.
A cocoon? Never seen one of that color.
It's a variety only found in the Republic of Borginia. Nowhere else.
Alright, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive of killing Mr. Latouche, does it?
It does. Wait, I think it does.
You don't sound so confident, man.
A cocoon? Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, well, silk out of?
Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative.
A curative? For what?
Apparently it's most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It's the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Borginia.
Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world?
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering.
We looked into the matter at some length. Apparently it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact.
What?
There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out onto the black market. It caused quite the commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware.
Intriguing.
All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export. One rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others.
Interpol?
Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescent, you insist on referring to him as a manager. But that's misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent.
So is trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That's what you're trying to say?
I'm saying this could well be a motive for the murder.
Oh, so I was gonna sell it on the black market, make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. I mean, totally unthinkable.
Unthinkable, you say? Why?
Perhaps it's time for another testimony about this smuggling of cocoons business.
International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them off on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in International Affairs. I know the deal.
Indeed. Interpol wanted those cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover.
You kids think up the craziest things. But no way am I gonna risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money.
Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted.
According to our reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky.
Very well. You may begin the cross-examination.
This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something. I'm gonna find out what. That memo. That's how you know about the cocoons.
Ah, nice one, nice one. I'm running scared now.
You had to know about the cocoons to plan this.
Just how well known are these cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'd never heard of them.
Well, the Mirror know about them, though not their use.
My reports indicate there are ongoing efforts to control information about the cocoons.
Most people only know they're legal to export, that's all.
Then I've nothing to be embarrassed about after all.
You could say people like me who know about them are a minority, yeah. But that includes everyone in international affairs, man. And everyone in Interpol too, for that matter. Yeah.
So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Latouche?
All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are too hot for the black market. Don't want Interpol sniffing through your wares. Most came to the conclusion that...
Dangerous.
Yeah, Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. Or another marketeer might think you're part of a sting and take you out himself. Times have changed.
But wouldn't scarcity drive up prices?
Yeah, and attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. They'd turn your forehead into Swiss cheese before you could say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair, too. Who's on trial here again? Man, you so obviously know nothing about the market.
And that's a bad thing?
Don't even try to mess with me about this stuff.
Which is why you'd know how to find a loophole in the system.
Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off international affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? What do you think we are, Boy Scouts?
That wasn't what I was trying to,
Down, Darian. It's as you say. There are no loopholes, at least in the case of these cocoons. International affairs, Interpol, and Burgundian customs are all watching. See, we know what we're doing. Not like some yipping little doggies that lap up every word that diva says.
why I oughta...
Oughta what? You want some of this? Chill, both of you. Let's do this cool, yeah?
Screw cool. I want this guy's head on a stick. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would.
How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they find out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye.
Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this?
That article, that's about the Chief Justice's...
A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuritis.
Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere.
You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning.
Aha! Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying...
Our witness is a detective. He would have some contact with the Chief Justice.
You're saying... the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband?
Not even to save his own son's life?
But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be an international scandal.
That's Detective Crescen's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice.
Detective Crescent, is this true?
First I'm a murderer, and now I'm a smuggler? How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway?
Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller.
Don't let Sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof?
Well,
Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing.
do tell.
Interpol isn't the only one out there watching us. Burgundian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about Cocoon's getting out.
So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination.
Burgundian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked.
Not everything.
Actually, there is one way.
What?
One way to get something out of the country, no checks.
What is it?
You become a prosecutor.
A prosecutor?
I don't believe it.
Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. That was what you told me yesterday at your... What was it you told me yesterday at your office?
It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting of a woman like Le Miroir.
How did it end up here?
I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it.
So this guitar is from Burgundia?
That it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruined the wood. So we vacuum packed it in Le Miroir's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched.
Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched?
Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Burgundia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was...
With cocoons this small, it could have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle Cocoon out of Burgundia.
What?
Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar had some work done on it recently, right?
Work?
Good memory, Air Forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It's called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort.
A broken device?
Yes, this, in fact.
An igniter?
Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar?
You mean...
He means this, of course.
Oh!
There was a way to get the Cocoon out of the country. They could use picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access, like a member of the band?
York! Order! Order! So the igniter...
Was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems.
It was a safety precaution.
A precaution?
Their forehead. At last it all comes together.
Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Le Miroir's ballad, if you would.
First, my keys were stolen. A harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case.
The key was stolen to retrieve the Cocoon from the guitar.
I see.
But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler.
What's that?
Mr. Latouche.
Bah,
Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself.
If the cocoon were confiscated then, the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was get rid of the whole lot.
It's over. Press the switch, now!
The guitar burst into flames and the cocoon was lost. And then, Mr. Latouche died.
With Lemiroir there to witness it.
There's your case.
Brilliant, man.
Detective Crescend?
I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly? For a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Darian. The Republic of Burguinia? Sorry, man, but I ain't never been there. True, you haven't. Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh?
It's not so hard to imagine. You had help, a Burgundian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lemiroir heard proves it.
It's over. Press the switch, now!
You made this transmission from backstage.
While your co-conspirator was on stage.
But who was it?
This is it, the coup de grace. And for once I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him.
Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with a great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice?
There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice, and that person is the defendant, Machi Tobai.
But Mr. Justice, he's your client.
A defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one.
I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I'm here to defend him for the murder of Mr. Latouche. As I stand by my statement earlier, he is innocent of that particular crime.
Indeed. The defendant is Burgundian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if that was, in fact, Lemiroir?
It couldn't have been.
Well, you seem sure of yourself.
The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor.
Electronic signals?
Recall this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless.
Yes, that's true.
Now think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lemiroir was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent.
Well, looking at this, it seems that Lemiroir still could have done the deed.
No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar's serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and the Lemiroir stand-in were in the air. They're on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lemiroir's position in the air vent.
Oh,
Well, Detective Crescend, what do you say to that?
Your Honor.
Yes, Detective?
These guys are gay. Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns just one more time? It's so fucking funny, man.
Well, I don't see why not. It was pretty funny.
What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. I mean, maybe he really does just think it's funny.
Too bad, so sad, punk.
Punk?
First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo.
What exactly were we supposed to see in this video?
The problem isn't what we see, correct, Arian? Right, it's what you hear. We're musicians, after all.
Care to explain for us non-musicians?
Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the wee pianist to set off that igniter? That right?
Yes.
Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press a switch. Am I right?
Okay.
Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano.
Piano?
What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine.
And that's the problem. Man, you still don't get it? Yeah, how's he supposed to hit the switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the Diva.
Lemire.
But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch.
I mean, there were plenty of pauses during which he could have pressed the switch.
The piano plays non-stop.
No, it doesn't.
He couldn't have pressed the switch.
Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire.
Well,
It's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes.
Apollo, were you wrong?
I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just...
Strange.
What's strange?
No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there.
Odd?
Mr. Justice, if Machitobai didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is.
But everything points to it. Every fact says he's an accomplice.
You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press the switch. In other words, your story is full of holes.
Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this now. Was the defendant, Machitobai, the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought.
Apollo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined.
I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed the switch.
Well, you better find a way to prove it.
What do I do? What do I do?
There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd.
Something odd. Wait a second.
What? You thought of something?
What was Gavin saying just now?
Strange.
What's strange?
No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there.
It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd?
Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machito Bai pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Machito Bai pressed the switch?
Let me look through my court record and find out. Okay, mute everything except the penis. Okay, so there weren't as many pauses as I thought. Okay, well, if there's any evidence, yeah, if the indication of the performance being off is present in the mixer, I doubt it's in the last part. It's probably the second or third part. Yeah, I think I can prove it.
I don't know if you could call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible.
Then, as a prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Therefore, Head, you're sure about this? Ha! Accept it. There's no evidence, man.
Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim the defendant pressed the switch?
Mixing board!
The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor.
Music? What about music?
Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch around the time the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame.
I hear a piano being played.
But doesn't it sound kind of simple?
Simple?
I think I know what he's saying. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand?
One hand?
He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other.
Ha! What, so you think you're some kind of piano savant?
Actually, no.
Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand.
Maybe... I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Trucy.
Yeah? You got something?
Mr. Wright, your father was a pianist. Could he?
Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had three hands.
So sorry. So sad for you.
No, not really.
Huh?
That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way.
Man, how are you gonna prove whether he played it with one hand or two? You can't.
I admit, it'll be rather difficult to prove. But it's highly likely he was playing with one hand.
How do you know that?
The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song.
No. No way.
Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand. Right before the guitar burst into flame.
Machi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire, and one section of the song proves it.
Yeah, that's the odd part out. Yeah, we're not presenting the part we're not presenting the part that could have been played with one hand. We're presenting the part that he would have needed two hands to play.
Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you.
I'm sure you've realized it yourself there, Forehead.
Realized what?
I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the "but a fleeting melody" phrase.
Man. How many times do we have to listen to the same thing?
You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we?
Another section?
The guitar bursts into flame right at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh That Night in Your Embrace."
Play verse 2 again.
There. Did you hear it?
They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different. What?
Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same verse in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use two hands to play that for sure.
Oh.
What's that prove?
I'd think you'd know that by now.
This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the two verses had different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Darian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so the piano would stay in the background. Ugh. That was what I noticed. Why would he use this? Why would the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself.
Now ask yourselves why Machi changed how he played, and there's only one answer, sorry. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch.
Order! I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, quite. Though personally this comes as a terrible disappointment.
What? No comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up.
Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter.
Good show, Sleeves. No, great show.
It's not over? I don't like when he looks so happy.
You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed in you, Air Forehead.
Huh? Me?
Yes, don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you've yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence.
Yeah, but the facts... anyone can see it was him.
Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it.
But...
1,000 facts might point toward the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system.
I don't believe it.
It does seem as though the defense... it does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present.
I think if he did, we would have seen it a long ways back.
It is unfortunate, but at present this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation.
What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals?
Apollo, remember what Daddy said?
It won't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the current court system.
So what do I do?
Like I said, good luck. Be aware that it'll be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darian Crescen's igniter and set it off.
I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter.
I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn to a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal.
So can I get back to work now or what? I may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney.
Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go.
Every man has an igniter.
Huh?
Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin?
Ah, yes. Good guitars are kept dry is why. That provides the best sound.
Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning.
What?
Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good.
Go for it, Apollo.
What? This igniter is supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry, and I intend to hear this one through to the very end. There, Forehead. You're accusing this man, Darian Crescend, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latouche and the smuggling of a Burgundian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case.
This trial has already run on far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then let's have it.
Let me save first.
Show us the basis for these accusations against Darian Crescend.
Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that'll take apart Darian Crescend's plan is... Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence.
Huh? So what is?
It's true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else.
You mean a witness?
Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person that can prove Darian Crescend's guilt?
The one person who can prove Darian Krishen's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tobai.
Your client? Again?
Machi Tobai was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darian Krishen could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case.
How so?
It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Burguinia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue, a residue we could, no doubt, also find inside the burnt-out guitar.
Aha! Very scientific of you.
Thus, if Machi Tobai acknowledges his agreement with Darian Krishen concerning the attempted smuggling for Burguinia cocoon, this case is solved.
Darian's laughing again.
Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to.
Why not?
Little key tickler won't even acknowledge anything. Especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling.
What's this all about?
Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Burgundian law. Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking.
But you're wrong, Detective Krishen.
What?
It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble.
Huh? How?
Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country.
Gah.
The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that means news has already reached Burguinia.
And they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Burgundian cocoon. Yeah, but...
But if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by Burgundian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here, not now.
Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me.
Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machi Tobai. The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan? Machi Tobai knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling.
Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. A hidden mansion? Real nice. You want a house made out of cookies? Or no, the house made out of pianos. Come on. Please! Don't talk! Darian, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked.
I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession?
Uh-oh, he's laughing again.
There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though.
Well, have you been listening to today's trial?
Yes.
And you'll talk? You'll tell this court everything?
I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime.
Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know? I see no reason why you should hesitate now.
I knew from beginning. I knew.
Machi,
Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money.
Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our court system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However,
It's become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard.
and should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Mochi Tobai,
Yes?
I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict.
I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth.
That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mochi Tobai,
Not guilty.
Court is adjourned.
I wonder what will happen to Machi.
well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. I guess there'll be another trial here.
All's well that ends well.
Daddy! I owe you both my thanks.
Lemiroir?
My, is something wrong?
I'm sorry, Machi was your partner on stage, your friend.
Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do, yet something got a hold of him, something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be?
I'm still sorry.
Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation.
It was my suggestion, actually.
You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving.
According to the doctor, Lemiroir lost her sight due to some kind of accident.
An accident?
As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared.
You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in here today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth.
If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting.
Painting?
That's right. She's the landscape painter and sound, after all. I will paint the two of you, I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Lemiroir.
I owe you my thanks too, Apollo.
Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what?
You remind me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is.
Right, your secret mission.
Apollo, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet. Me too.
And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on, until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial, the guitar's serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now, but there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad,
Have them catch the killer at the end.
I didn't tell him the part where I wanted him to let me suck his dick. But okay.
Okay.
Alright. So, next episode, we begin the final case of the game. But if you enjoyed this video, then no further action is required on your part. And we will see you next time.